The planet Earth isn't going to be habitable forever. If the human race is going to survive, one day we'll have to pack up our things and move to another planet. It sounds easy, until you realize the vastness of space and even how big our solar system is. No matter where we're going in space, we need to travel fast, and not just at the speed of light either. We're talking about ludicrous speed. But some researchers have designed an impossible engine that violates the laws of physics, and another group of scientists are now saying a warp drive is possible. Is NASA really working on this technology, and what does the future hold for space travel? Consider this for a moment. Our closest neighbor, Alpha Centauri, is 4.367 light-years away. So even if we traveled in a ship at 100% light speed, it would still take you 4.367 years to get there. We could use rockets to get ourselves around in space, but the big problem with them is the amount of fuel we would need to carry to get anywhere. But even rockets have their limits, including how fast they can push a spacecraft. We're going to need something that can generate some serious thrust and be able to do so without carrying a large amount of fuel, because in space there are no gas stations. But there is an engine out there that reportedly can push a spacecraft around without the need for fuel. And this engine produces no exhaust either. You just plug it in, fire it up, and go. It's called the EM drive, or Impossible Engine, because it claims it can do the impossible. So how does this EM drive work? At first glance, it actually does look a bit like a rocket engine from the side. However, there are no openings in the device, and it works by bouncing around microwaves inside a closed chamber. That bouncing around of microwaves in the chamber is supposed to create a push, so to speak. This is a big deal, because all forms of rocketry require some conservation of momentum. In order to put a spacecraft in motion, you've got to push off something. For example, if you jump, your feet push off the ground. An airplane pushes off the air, and rockets use exhaust gas to push them and whatever they're carrying forward. But the EM drive doesn't push off anything. Basically, it's a container with microwaves bouncing around inside it, and it can supposedly move itself. Now you understand why this is called an impossible engine. The explanations for how this thing works goes past our current understanding of physics. Nobody really knows how it's supposed to work. It could turn out that our understanding of physics is broken, or perhaps the testing of this device will give us some brand new physics. The EM drive concept came to life in 2001, and there have been some research groups that claim they've measured a net force coming from their devices. However, what they're measuring is an incredibly small effect. So small, it couldn't move a piece of paper. So what we have after nearly 20 years is a bunch of experiments that haven't delivered something worth talking about, or any explanation of how they work. Some experts say that this drive will never work, and all projects will likely be a waste of time and money. It's possible that our understanding of physics or new physics not yet discovered could make this thing work. But there are other space engines out there that people said would never work, and they sprang to life. We're talking about the ion drive, something that was only thought possible in science fiction when this was first imagined. And when people first heard about a real ion drive, they also thought it would never produce enough power to move a small spacecraft. But the ion drive really does work. And in 2016, NASA awarded the California-based company Aerojet Rocketdyne $67 million to design, build, and test an advanced and super-efficient solar electric propulsion system, or SEP for short. They also call this drive a Hall effect thruster that uses propellant accelerated by an electric field. The ion drive works first